Hi everyone. Next, we have a power pack panel discussion on a very interesting topic, that is monetizing cricket data, the business of APIs in sponsorships, digital content, and performance analysis, and featuring industry leaders who are shaping the future of sports technology with us. We have two panel members. One is Mr. Andrew Walton, Managing Director of STWS, and the second is Mr. Abhishek Desai, founder of CricHeroes. We welcome you both.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste, Andrew. So, Andrew, his vision helped transform the grassroots and professional cricket data management, transitioning from Interact Sports, which partnered with Cricket Australia, to power platforms like My Cricket and Play Cricket, bringing live scoring and streaming to clubs worldwide. In 2021, Interact Sports was acquired by Sportsradar, further cementing his impact on global sports data ecosystem. Andrew is a level 3 high performance cricket coach with coaching stints at Fitzroy Doncaster CC, Praran CC, Melbourne CC, as a guest coach at Karnataka Institute of Cricket, especially in Bangalore in India. He is also actively involved in disability sports, sports innovations, and youth development. I have so many things to talk about Andrew. Andrew is currently engaged in multiple roles, including stakeholder manager at Disability Sport and Recreation. He's contributing to Australia Sports Innovation Week with STWS and serving as the director coach at Scotch College, where he continues to shape the next generation of cricketers. Once again, we welcome you, Andrew.
Thank you for that.
The next panel member, Mr. Abhishek, he is the founder of CricHeroes. CricHeroes is the world's leading platform, especially for amateur cricketers and cricket enthusiasts. Since its inception, CricHeroes has amassed over 35 million users across 120 countries, revolutionizing how grassroots cricket is played, tracked, and celebrated, with a mission to democratize cricket by connecting players and fans. CricHeroes provides cutting-edge tools and analytics that bring a professional touch to recreational cricket. Under Abhishek's leadership, the platform continues to empower the global cricket ecosystem, bridging the gap between amateur players and professional level technology. Over to you, Andrew.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Ami. I appreciate that wonderful introduction. A pleasure to be here with Abhishek and being able to talk through a number of things about the business of APIs and what we've seen in our lifestyle. Because back when just for context, when I first got involved in developing a cricket management platform, cricket was mostly played with a red ball and sometimes a white ball. But now we also have pink balls. As well. So the sport continues to innovate on the field, and we are seeing more and more more and more cricket in that short format. So just by way of history, for those in our audience here who are familiar with CricHeroes, which is one of the best current platforms of its kind in the world. Before CricHeroes, I think locally in India a while ago, it used to be Chalker. Was
Yes,
Chalker around a long time?
Yeah. One of the players, yes.
So if anybody remembers Chalker, well, before Chalker, way back in the day, myself and my two founders created a platform called Results Vault that was part of our business called Interact Sport. And basically, we invented that back at the time because it's early 2000s. Websites were becoming a thing. Yet back in those days, a website was like somewhere where you went to see some information, a logo, maybe some photographs, and there was nothing dynamic about that experience. It was just somewhere to go. And within our club, we were trying to create an environment where, first of all, the scorecards could be published. Because back in those days, we were reliant upon the scorecards or a summary appearing in the newspapers. Right. And if you can imagine this experience, so Abhishek, as the captain of the team, South Yarra Cricket Club, we would play the game. We would then manually score in the scorebook the match. At the end of the match, the captain, I would then transcribe the details of that scorecard onto a page of paper that I would then fax to the association and then ring the summary through to the radio station and hope in the next 2 or 3 days, it would appear in a newspaper.
Right.
So that was our problem in the early days. And so we created this online element on the website but the philosophy was data entered once and flows where it needs to go. And that's where the first API aspect came into it, because the scorecard had to present itself as a scorecard online. Yet that information then had to transpose into a ladder for the competition, so you knew who was where, and then also into a series of statistics: batting, bowling, team, fielding, etc. That was the easy part. That was the easy part to a degree. But then in relation to APIs, so back then we were confronted with a situation where, okay, well, we're also trying to manage our club by way of communications. And we had 4 teams that were in 2 different competitions. So theoretically, I could play on a Saturday in one competition and Sunday in another competition.
Right.
Yet the first problem to solve was we didn't want to duplicate the record in different competitions. So you had to have a single record. So that was the first instance of a very basic API to make sure that the data of the core data was available in different areas. And then we go into, okay, because then a match, apart from being 2 teams, there's a venue, there are umpires, and sometimes they're coming from different areas as well. And then we had to think of the communications within the club. So this is back at a very primitive time. So we would like to email to our players the team selections, or email to the players their availability. So now you're using an email client to transfer the information, because that email would be customized to say, this is the round, these are the dates, this is the venue, this is the opposition, where that sort of come from. And then ahead from that, we were using SMS back then, mobile phone, SMS to notify players. So all very stuff that we relate upon today, but very, very primitive in those first few years. Then after 6 or 7 years being an individual subscriber model, we then launched into a partnership with the Cricket Australia, and that then took us into the first wave of iPad devices. So this is back when there was only iPad. There was no Android, no other tablet device at all. And initially, we started to look at how that could represent from a web page model and then to become responsive in a tablet environment. Then as it gradually went down a few years ahead, we then found more and more devices being available, and therefore how you could use APIs to transfer that information across into that format, but then also taking registrations that might require payments, or the ability for clubs to purchase equipment, or the clubs to be able to put match fees and those sorts of things in place as well. And then just to finish with, before I hand to you, Abhishek, so in 2015, when we were well down the path of mobile technology, that's when our relationship with Cricket Australia, excellent. We're doing all Australia by then. We then secured a contract with the ECB in the UK. They wanted to upgrade their Play Cricket database. And the benefit there was, Abhishek, that the ECB applied a digital mobile first philosophy. So that was great, because everything before that, we designed around a desktop.
Right.
And try to fit it into that platform. So that took us to the next level, and that then unlocked things like live scoring and live streaming in the early days. And that's held up well into the 2000s. Yet I must say that when I first saw CricHeroes emerging a few years ago, it was so impressive, because I do follow many of my friends, Amreen, Yuvraj, Likita, Sachin, Ananya, who all play in India universities, and felt so happy I could finally follow their progress in their domestic competition in India. Yet what CricHeroes was starting to deliver was something that we'd always aspired to. We just never had really the scale of audience and really the demand that you have there. So we sold the business to Sport Radar. It's gone in a different direction. That's okay, but I'm grateful for the experience that cricket gave me, and it is a real privilege in this industry to be able to see the great work that CricHeroes is now doing, not just in India, yet in tournaments, in regular competition all across the world. So Abhishek, I'll hand over to you, and you can bring us up to date as to where things are now, please, and into the future.
No, no, thank you. Thank you so much, Andrew, for those kind words. I mean, as you rightly said, probably we are the current platform, but you are the pioneer for like where everything started, right? So I think a lot of credit should go to you. And I believe apart from Interact Sport, CricHQ was also another platform which probably started in 2010. So, and I guess Interact Sport must be before that, right?
Yeah.
So you guys are like, these are the couple of platforms which actually started this revolution of digitizing the cricket game, right? We were just fortunate to be at the right place at the right time. 2016, when we started, the smartphone revolution was just starting in India because right along with CricHeroes, the Geo platform also launched the Geo data network, basically. And that made data very, very cheap and accessible across India, right? And smartphone prices were also going down, specifically the Android phones. So that also kind of helped us in growing. And as you mentioned about cricket ECB, Andrew, we were also very, very clear from the beginning that we want to go mobile first. So that one decision also actually played, like in our favor, in a huge manner. We never created the desktop interface. We only created it later when we actually wanted to give it to some cricket associations and all. And like when we decided that okay, we also need to have some presence on Google to take care of the search engine optimization advantages. That's when we started working on the website part. But from day one, Crick Heroes was always conceptualized as a mobile first platform. And we started serving the Android users first because Android is like 90% of India's user base. And after probably about 4 to 6 months, we launched our first iPhone app as well. So, that's how the journey of Crick Hero started. This is late 2016, early 2017, I'm talking about. And organically we grew to become a platform which started covering the short format limited over matches like T20, T12, T16. Generally, these are the kind of formats which gets played at grassroots level in India. But very soon we also started interacting with cricket associations in India, and they kind of told us that there are multi-day matches which happens in associations. So then, we also had to create a scoring module which supported a multi-day, multi-innings cricket format. So then, like that was further evolution of Crick Heroes as a platform. So then now we are supporting limited over matches as well as we are supporting multi-day, multi-innings matches as well. Uh, if I have to talk about APIs, I mean, then I believe the demand for API started pretty early in our journey. Probably it took like a couple of years for that because people were kind of waiting for their stats to, generate and kind of accumulate on the CricHeroes platform. But once it started happening, like some of the organizers or some of the auction software companies, they came to us and they started kind of telling us that, hey, you know what, you guys have this data and we are taking this data for our auction, like the physical auctions I'm talking about, right? And which is a phenomena inspired highly by IPL. So, like if you see in January, February, March, we will see a lot of grassroots cricket tournaments organizing proper auctions, right? Where they will have a gala auction at a hotel. They will invite all captains and, like team owners, and they will put a proper show like IPL. And then obviously there are also, like a low key auctions also happen, right? And even in corporate tournaments, auction happens. So basically, auction is a very, very popular feature attached to grassroots cricket. So those people came to us and said, hey, you know what? We are copying your data manually right now from your website or from your app, and we are putting it in an Excel file. And then, we are showing that data to our audience when they are bidding for players, right? So that kind of became the first use case for us to provide API access. So we have recently started working with a couple of players in auction segment where we have started giving them APIs so that they don't have to manually do this. They can simply pass on the player ID to us or maybe a unique phone number of a player in our API. And in return, they will get all the batting stats and bowling stats and fielding stats of the player, which gets displayed on a PowerPoint presentation or which gets displayed on a bigger screen in an auction room. And then they people start bidding for those players. So basically it make it made the entire auction process pretty seamless. So this was one use case which we started solving with the API. Another use case which also came to us was via associations. Some of the associations wanted to show their matches on their own website, which is obviously a very natural demand. So in that case, we also kind of created two options for them. One, they could embed a code on their website, which started showing their specific tournaments and their specific matches on their website and powered by CricHeroes. So the backend is CricHeroes, but the front end can be anywhere. And they can also customize the front end so that it looks like their own website and not looks like something CricHeroes is providing. That was one. And second, some of them also told us that, hey, you know what, we want to use our own UI for our own scorecard and all. Is it possible to give us data via APIs for scoring and all, right? I don't think we have done that a lot, but there were certain demands, which also kind of made us realize that, okay, this kind of API can also help us going forward. Sporadically, we also heard from some users who were very, very data savvy, and like somebody who is kind of a data scientist in some corporate, and then he will come and tell us that, hey, you know what, we do a lot of calculations, a lot of insights, a lot of analysis before we start our tournament or before we make matches and all, and then they will come up with a very, very detailed Excel sheet, and they will show that, hey, see how this is how we do the analysis. And then they were wondering if we can provide them APIs, again purely the stats API, right, which can help them make this analysis much more real time, and also kind of removes the hassle of copy pasting data manually and all, right? So basically these are some of the use cases as CricHeroes we have seen specifically from API perspective. Having said that, everything we do is an API, right? I mean, we have our own app essentially which consumes API from our servers. We also create white label apps for cricket associations and cricket clubs and cricket tournaments as well. So there must be 500 to 800 apps which we have created so far for various organizations. So all those apps essentially are also kind of clients of our APIs, right? And our own website, the embed code which is there on association website, all of those are web-based clients. So the entire architecture of CricHeroes is designed in such a way that every data point of CricHeroes can be consumed via APIs. But not all of those APIs are open for everyone, which is the path I believe as CricHeroes we are going to go forward with now, looking at the demand in the market.
Outstanding, Abhishek. And this is where it's so good to hear about the progress here, Ami, because we had an initial strategy was around, we felt that because, and this is at a time where CricInfo was just emerging and it was the only real site around. Apart from,
Right.
I think Wisdom back then might have carried some stats as well, but that was for the elite, the high level.
Right.
We always felt though that if we could develop a sustainable business, particularly where there were subscriptions attached to it, that the growth in the grassroots community was going to continue to happen. So our basic philosophy there was the more information, more involvement, more interest in the sport. If that was at a time where it was predominantly data from text would appear in some sort of format. Where Abhishek and his team have now taken it to that was that once streaming started, yes, people can watch the match. However, the streaming, once you've got vision, and then you can start to bring into it highlights. Now, AI highlights can be brought in there as well, pitch maps, wagon wheels. You've got a whole lot of extra visual data,
Right.
which is very important. And then a true story. So it was May this year. I'd gotten back to Melbourne from Bengaluru, and as I'm driving home, there was a live auction for a tournament here, Century Cricket, being undertaken at a hotel in Melbourne. And I'm watching a YouTube. So I'm trying to work this out. I'm watching a YouTube stream of an auction in Melbourne
Right.
using data from CricHeroes in India, not just the player's profile, but they're also comparing players against players when they're
Right.
looking at batters. And I'm thinking to myself, my goodness, how far this has currently gone.
Right.
That's now being expected by the generation ahead. That's from a player perspective. The other thing too, which I'll drop in before back to Abhishek, is that the membership data of the players and the fans. So here in Australia and in the UK, the BBL and the 100 competitions are very, very much about trying to convert people, whether they're players, coaches, parents, participants, fans, whatever, into some form of membership structure to get them to go to a game at the MCG or more, or get them to visit a game in the country or another venue. And a lot of that information around the participant profile comes from the APIs that may be data driven, or it could be their engagement with something visual that's occurred from the game. And ahead, maybe you want to touch on the AI sort of thing coming ahead, Abhishek, as to how much flexibility that now allows you to do if we're looking into what's coming in 2026 and beyond.
Right. No, so Andrew, I talked about AI highlights, which is already part of CricHeroes right now. So every day we, let's say roughly about 10 to 12,000 matches get live streamed on an average on a monthly basis on CricHeroes platform. And out of that, we create 100 to 150 matches highlight every day with the help of AI. The only restricting factor for us right now is the infra cost associated with it, because it's expensive to process that much video data and create highlights and all. But theoretically, it is possible to create highlights for almost all the matches which get live streamed on CricHeroes, and those highlights get attached directly to the scorecard and to the respective profile of players, which they can go ahead and purchase after the match. So right now, those highlights are taking about 24 hours, like sometimes 24 hours to generate, which is too much time. So we are also working on a technology to kind of create those highlights within an hour of completing the match, or, in future, most likely real-time highlights will be generated that somebody has gotten out, and few minutes, the highlights will be generated for that person, right? Because at that time, the tempers are high and the adrenaline rush is there to, okay, see something like that. The most likely purchase might happen at that time. Right. And plus, obviously, it also makes the game far more exciting for everyone involved. So yes, that is one direction. The AI is helping us a lot. Another direction which we had tried in the past, Andrew, and we kind of rescinded it mostly because of the cost reason. But we also tried creating AI powered commentary. So right now we generate ball to ball commentary. It is pretty simple because it's heuristic based. So nothing much excitement around it right now. But if we are able to put those commentaries along with some other metadata of the match and tournament in an AI, and then the output which we get is pretty exciting, pretty accurate in many cases, right? And that makes again, the consumption of the entire game far more exciting. There is another AI use case which we have tried and which is coming out really good, is pre-match and post-match show. So just the way, like we obviously, when you watch international cricket, there is a pre-match show and then there is a post-match show and all, right? Similar kind of pre-match and post-match show is available, can become available for a grassroots cricket match as well with the help of AI, in any voice you want. So imagine your pre-match show in the voice of Ravi Shastri or Harsha or Tom Moody, right? And that it can be a game-changing experience for grassroots cricketers. And like we have experimented with it, and the results are fantastic. So we just really need to find out a business model, right? The true challenge of AI, AI will keep progressing, and a lot of such use cases will uncover. However, I think the true challenge for any business will be, how do you monetize this? Right. So how do I monetize AI-based commentary or AI-powered commentary, or how do I monetize AI-powered pre-match show and post-match show at grassroots cricket matches? Right. So these are some of the challenges which is kind of restricting us to put all those use cases at once out in the market. But AI highlights is something which is already out there in the market. We are getting a decent traction on it. We believe it can become a highly scalable revenue channel over the period of time.
Ami, over to you.
Perfect. It was an interesting conversation with both of you. Like, I have a few quick questions to ask.
Yes.
Okay. Abhishek, the first question is to you. Like, as you were talking about cricket data APIs are transforming, the local cricket tournaments. So how do you see the AI and predictive analytics playing a role into monetizing the performance data at grassroots level?
So we are already monetizing performance data at grassroots level. So we have a module called Crick Insights, which is essentially an analytics module to give you deep dive into your own performance as a cricketer, and also helps you analyze the opponents before your match, or even once your match is over, to analyze the past match, the completed match, right? So that you can strategize better in your next game. So that way we are already kind of monetizing the player data or the match data. Predictive analytics is something which we have not delved into a lot so far, but that is a clear-cut use case which we see in international matches happening all the time. What is the, how likely the betting team is, like betting team is about to win or something like that, right? So predictive analytics is, I believe it will be difficult to monetize it, to be honest, at grassroots level, but it can be a very, very good engagement feature for us. So if we have to bring in predictive analytics, I believe we will bring in as a engagement feature first, and we'll worry about monetizing it later.
Okay. Andrew, the next question is to you. In your experience over so many years, what are the most effective models for monetizing real-time data in digital media, or you take these days the OTT platforms?
Yeah. Look, I think an untapped area here really is how sponsorship and media-driven content can flow through the entire ecosystem. I mean, so much of it is concentrated at the elite level of the game, and we understand that. Yet, I think when we look at what CricHeroes now enables you to do is understand the complete profile of the player and how they've got there. And the reason why I mention that is because so often, now whether I'm seeing in the offices of Viacom or Star Sports, everyone's talking about storytelling. We have to be better at storytelling to engage the fan, engage the audience. And players all come from somewhere. They didn't just pop out of an academy or a pathway and emerge there. So if I use the example, Glenn Maxwell started his cricket at South Belgrave as an 8-year-old. He then went to Richmond Cricket Club, then went to Fitzroy Doncaster, where he still plays now in grade cricket, and then he plays for multiple teams over the world. Yet being able to create a connection with the audience that this is where the players come from. And it creates an emotional connection to the game. So they don't then look at a player as being, oh, he's so-and-so from RCB, and we don't like RCB, but hang on, you might know someone where he's played from because a player has been there before. And I think that then allows sponsors to delve deeper into not only broadening their audience, but they bring into it the emotional connection, the storytelling into where it is. So I think that the days of just plastering a logo across the screen, it doesn't do a lot. The other thing too, with the OTT platform, what that also allows us to do ahead is look at other ways of delivering the information, whether it be a watch along or a watch party, where you may have a streamer or a commentator part of what's going on, but not actually in. They're giving a narrative or review on the game, Abhishek. They're not actually at the game. They're watching it on a screen like gamers, and their audience is conversing with them as well. So I think that also opens up the option, where sponsors and commercial engagements can come in, like, whether it be buying skins or whatever it may be, or products that link to a partner. Those opportunities are there because in the gaming community, we're seeing a Twitch stream interrupted because Loser Fruit's got her KFC delivered by Uber Eats, and here it is on the screen with her audience while she's playing Fortnite. So those sort of behaviours, I think, are going to further come into this, but we need to be able to then have that data and that experience utilising APIs to then link it closer to the commercial entities involved in the sport.
Okay. The next question is to both of you. Like, I just want understanding from both of you. There is an ongoing debate going on about, making player performance data publicly accessible versus keeping it competitive as a competitive asset, basically. So, like, what do you see as the balance, and is it impacting commercialization?
Yeah, sorry, Andrew, go ahead.
No, you go.
Yeah, no. So I just have to say that from day one, all CricHeroes data, like all player stats, are completely open for everyone to access. Essentially, because of players, CricHeroes is there, right? Not vice versa. So, like players have all the rights to access their data in any form they want. So not only we have all the data open in our website, but we also have like downloadable scorecard in PDF format, downloadable leaderboards in Excel format, etc., etc. So that if they want to go ahead and do some further analysis on top of it on their own, they can do that. I think it's I mean, it's like a cricket match, right? Better team will win. So if we as Crick Heroes are able to provide better analytics on top of the data, then we will win. But if somebody else can provide it better, then they will win, right? Essentially, anyone will win, will make the entire game better, right?
Yeah.
So we see it that way.
I always feel that access to performance data improves the quality and the standard of the game.
Right.
Because the data really is the data available is telling a story of history.
Right.
The screen won't bowl the ball for you. You've still got to the player still has to go out and execute their skill accordingly. And the more information they have, which is validated and accurate, we're moving beyond perception. And I think also just from because there's so many leagues around the world now, I have a strong, it actually helps the players get recognised because they've got a greater chance of being identified from something that they've done, not necessarily from a highlight performance, also from an impact. Because sometimes what a player might do if they're batting, for example, Army, what they might do in 6 or 10 balls can have more impact on a match than a player who's batted for 50, 60 balls. And having access to that data openly allows you then to assess that and not just lose that behind.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So Abhishek, your there are sponsorship deals in cricket, and they are the traditional things being driving, reach and eyeball thing. So have you seen a shift over the traditional exposure, from past to now? What is the change you have seen?
In terms of player sponsorship, you mean, I mean?
Player sponsorship, yes.
So we know for sure that certain grassroots cricketers, they are so popular that they get sponsored by like their respective team owners. Basically,
Yep.
they get fees for playing a match, right?
Yes.
Just like a professional cricketer will do. Right? I mean, they are that good. So that kind of environment already exists. It had also existed before CricHeroes came into picture. But the only change which we have brought in is we have made it far more accessible for everyone to see performances of every player. Before that, it was very, very difficult for talented cricketers to come out. It was just like via word of mouth, and which will have a limited reach. Now, with the help of Crick Heroes, people are kind of sharing their profiles in, let's say,
Yes.
various WhatsApp groups to basically tell people that how good they are. Or if I want to hire somebody in my team in a specific role, then I will probably ask for a Crick Heroes profile, or I will check myself first before taking a decision, right? So we have just added that one extra layer of which can help in decision making. So player sponsorship has always been part of grassroots cricket, but like with the help of Crick Heroes, it has been better. And I believe because of IPL and many other leagues which are popping up, I think a decent grassroots cricketer has a chance of earning or making a living only by
Yes.
playing. Even if he is not part of a BCCI squad, right, or even a state squad, he or she still has a decent chance of making a living by simply playing some high quality grassroots cricket, which is a proper shift which we have seen in, let's say, last maybe 4 to 5 years maximum. Yeah.
Okay. Andrew, these days there is fantasy cricket and betting has, is driving a huge demand on the cricket data. So, how can the API monetization work, or how can it emerge into this space? And are there any regulatory challenges which you are seeing?
Yeah, look, there will be regulatory challenges in the sports betting area. We've definitely seen a very big culture shift in Australia away from that, where there's been public concern arise about the amount of sports betting advertising, which is dominating multiple platforms. Which I think is a good thing, because you don't want children going to a game and judging who they feel is going to win the match because of what the odds are. And that's been unmissable. I'm a bit mixed on this one. because I understand that there is some contributions that are valuable from the commercial aspect to the growth of the game.
Right.
Yet I think we've also got to be conscious of the damage that can be done if there's too much emphasis on that. And I think we're in that sort of finding out phase. We sort of it skyrocketed to a degree over a period of time, and now sort of like leveling out. But wherever you can have a sporting contest, there'll always be some sort of betting or gambling, and it does though on the other side. It does create an ability for tournaments to exist. Sometimes a tournament sponsored to attract players and talent does require that type of involvement. But I suppose look, as long as the information is available and open, it can hopefully reduce issues of concern or complication ahead. So the more you can see, the more you can identify, then the end user can work out whether it's a risk to them or not, or whether they're actually going to make an investment there. But it's better in the end if the data is coming from a live component that is accessible, then that will create a better situation.
Okay.
According to me, the biggest problem right now, specifically in India, is the gray area in which these companies exist. Betting is illegal in India, but still the betting is a state subject.
Yes.
You see, apart from IPL, almost all the smaller leagues have betting companies as their sponsors, right? But at the same time, betting is not allowed. So, like the problem is confusion, right? That whether it is allowed or not allowed. I think that is something which we really need to sort out because, for example, at CricHeroes, we do not entertain, like we refuse betting sponsorships, which is, to be honest, I mean, ethically, it's the right thing to do. At the same time, it is also causing a huge loss of revenue for us, right? We do not want to, and we do not have any association with any betting companies. But at the same time, they literally steal our data from our website, by accessing our APIs in an unauthorized way, and like show some of the tournaments on their respective websites, which is really really irritating for us because like it kind of puts us in a very very difficult and awkward situation where as CricHeroes we are not involved, but because data is getting stolen from CricHeroes, like somewhere or the other, like our name gets tarnished, right? And we also end up losing a lot of revenue as well. So if, I mean, betting is completely illegal, then do not allow anything, right? Do not allow any sponsorship at any level, right? And if it is illegal, then, just make it regulated so that, like everyone can in the ecosystem can benefit. Right now, the problem is the gray area in which this entire thing exists. So that is something we really, as an industry, we really need to figure out how to go about it.
Correct. Like I'll take just one last question. Uh, if both of you were advising any startups today to build a business around cricket data APIs or into the cricket ecosystem, what are the gaps in the ecosystem and how would you recommend as an experienced person into the industry to go about?
You mean
Abhishek,
yeah, you mean to say, Ami, gap between grassroots cricket and the international
yes,
cricket, right?
yes,
Okay, perfect. No, so exactly that is what I mean. That is why CricHeroes exists. So we keep telling our team that we exist because we want to make grassroots cricket world class, right? Or if you go to our website, you will also see something like we make grassroots cricket better one match at a time, right? So that is the mission for which we are here. How we are doing it? So AI highlights, I already gave an example. Obviously, before that, live streaming came into picture, and after that, AI highlights came. So live streaming is something which we created our own technology so that you can live stream using a mobile phone, or if you're live streaming using a third-party professional camera, then you can still use our score overlays and all. And then on top of live stream, highlights came into being. Then another innovation which we are working is building our own camera so that more matches can get live streamed. We call it capture. We believe it will be highly useful for ground owners and league organizers and cricket clubs and cricket associations who want to live stream their matches at a very, very cost effective way. And it is obviously going to be a boon for players because most of the matches which get scored on CricHeroes, we believe a lot of them can also get live streamed. The Only thing which is stopping uh, us, or like the ecosystem, to do that is the either the cost associated with it or the hassle associated with it. So we want to remove both of these obstacles by building our own camera. That is another innovation. Fourth is we are working on a DRS product, decision review system. So decision review system is a like a no-brainer for a international game. It will be always be there, but it is still not a like a regular thing in grassroots cricket. So that is also something which we want to change. Some of the premier tournaments can have DRS systems, which will help umpires make better decisions, which will also give fairness, add fairness to for both the teams in the game. So that is another innovation we are coming up with. So slowly, in fact, we also tried our hands. We are also trying our hands on building a stump camera, right? So essentially, what I'm trying to say is that we simply identify that, okay, what is it there in the international game, right? What players are getting there, and how much of that technology can we bring at grassroots level in a cost-effective way? So that is one question which we keep asking ourselves, and that is kind of the path which helps us innovate in the right direction.
Okay. So Abhishek, what is your advice to startups who want to enter into the cricket ecosystem? Like you have a lot of experience into this ecosystem. So what is your advice to the startups?
Uh, a lot of areas are still, like to be uncovered by CricHeroes and by many other players. So as I said, all the video innovations which I just talked about, the market is still open for anyone to capture that. So like that is one area where everyone. Analytics is another area where like everyone can, like a lot of players can still win. The market is huge. Cricket equipment, cricket merchandise, these two are again huge opportunities for anyone who has expertise in any of those areas to build a sustainable and a large business. So yeah, I think these are three or four opportunities easily, like which exist even today, and which will keep existing for a foreseeable future for any startup to build a viable business.
Okay. Andrew, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so first of all, advice to startups, I've got 4 points there, Army. So first of all is to understand your own technology. Be aware of what you've got. Keep your code organized. Don't take shortcuts. Test the whole entire process, but test it yourself and listen to your customer, as in really listen to your customer. As in, please don't rely upon just purely text chats or WhatsApp messages. Get to know your customer, use video message, use the context of the conversation. And then as far as what they could do for the future ahead, so just to pick up on Abhishek, yeah, I think multiple camera angles. We have seen the quality of streaming is now accepted. Yet majority of streaming now is still one camera. So multiple camera angles is aspect there. Right. Content production features. So my two youngest children are 10 and 13. They don't know Snapchat, they don't know Facebook, they don't know Twitter, but they know YouTube and they know TikTok. And because of those platforms, they understand, and they've never read a manual, never read an instruction book, but they know how to create content with music, with sound, with slow motion, with animation, etc. So content production features. The third one, pick up on something Abhishek said before about just the efficiency in video storage and conversion. Like at the moment, there's still a lag in getting that into the end point. And the fourth thing was, fourth thing was allowing incoming commentary. So if you've got a watch party sort of situation, you can actually interact with your audience. And the last one, putting my coaching hat on, is if Yuvraj is playing for Bengal, that I'm sent an alert as his coach with a package or some information from the game that I can then utilize to not only mentor Yuvraj through his experience, yet also we can put on our own data file and reflect back upon if we think that something has gone on. So they're the sort of things that if coming into cricket, I still believe we can do more in those areas. So camera angles, content production, efficiency in video, incoming engagement, and connect with your coach and your mentor. Because Abhishek's right, like the grassroots player who can now be recognised, the majority have a coach of some sort who's not their team coach nor their club coach. They're having a mentor from some other area.
Okay. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Abhishek, for your time. And the panel was really
Yeah.
interesting. Like, I got to know. I think the audience also might have understood a lot of things which were new and they were able to relate to it.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you, Andrew. Great talking to you.
Namaste. Thank you, Abhishek. Thank you, Ami.
Namaste.